Here we have Solana, symbol SOL versus the dollar, and another one that is somewhat similar to Ethereum in terms of relative strength. However, when I go to the weekly, maybe I do take that back a bit. But basically, do I think that we can see another move down to about $1.60? Yeah, I do think so, especially if Bitcoin trades down here as well. But overall, as long as this thing is closing above, and let's just redo this one in a similar way to Ethereum for the most important part, would be this little range right here between about $1.76 and 180. As long as you're closing above there, this actually is shaping up to be a little bit something resembling another accumulation zone. Very, very similar to Ethereum, but this one not as obvious as Ethereum, nor is it as long-term implicative bullish here. So similar to Ethereum as well, I wouldn't call this resolved in a bullish fashion. Obviously, as long as you're below 230, above 230, this thing very likely retests per all-time highs at 260 or 270 and continues on to 300 long-term. But until then, similar to Ethereum, I do think that you get a few more tests into the bottom side of this blue box territory, kind of getting that right now actually. But assuming that there's no closures below, well, I do look for this one to kind of do something similar in the sense that you probably look at, some sideways action. Whoops, let me get my little LARP lines out right here. Sideways action for a little bit of time and then tries another move to the upside. Confirmation and validation of a major upside move would be above about 230, and that look really, really good. Now, I do want to represent the bearish side accurately here, and the bearish side is this. The bearish side is on the weekly. You got a major top, you hit extremes on volatility, and you got bearish divergence of 1, 2, 3 drives already in there. Now you did hit the first easy target on this one, which is down to about $1.60. The next target, if you do break that low side structure below about $1.55 to $1.60 or so, on that last wick low, would be back down to about 135 or so. 135 base is what I'd be looking towards. And that'd probably take a long time, obviously. And it's, again, I'd imagine that Bitcoin would be breaking down massively as well if that were to happen. But that's kind of what I'd be preparing for in this case. I'm just curious to see what we have over here from momentum also to perspective, just to see if there's anything of particular interest. Maybe we're missing some. Maybe some can help out with biases. Yeah, daily Stokes turning down as long as we close today below about 222.5. Not great. Weekly, face down as long as you're below about 255. So this one is going to be corrective at best for a while. The hopium here, and again, I do think that the hopium is okay in this case, is that you hold above about $1.75 on a daily closure. Below there, not only very likely retest your $160 wick low, but very likely to trade much further south than that, somewhere around about $1.35 to $1.40 base, and maybe try for like a macro low somewhere right around there if it is going to be still long-term bullish. Until then, corrective at best. And this is the hopium right here. Understand that this is hopium right here. It's really not until you get back above about 230 that this thing actually confirms and validates that it is once again macro trending bullish. And in this case, targets up to 300 plus are going to be relevant. I mean, we can just briefly look at this. If it were to put in a base here, what's going to be the relevant targets? 270 would be the first one above 230. And then, 300 to 330 actually long term would look quite good. So just be aware of that. Hopefully that's helpful for Solana.